The story behind the woman I love is not one that begins with fireworks or grand gestures, but with a quiet moment, a glance that lingered too long, a silence filled with something neither of us could name at the time. I met her on a day like any other, unaware that it would become the most extraordinary day of my life. There was no dramatic setting, no cinematic background music, just her presence, so vivid and commanding that the world around her seemed to soften in deference. Something about her drew me in with a magnetic pull I couldn't resist. She wasn't just beautiful, though her beauty was unlike anything I'd seen, natural, effortless, with eyes that seemed to have traveled through time and returned carrying secrets. What struck me first was the way she carried herself, not seeking attention, but never lost in the crowd. She possessed a grace that didn't demand to be noticed, and yet it was impossible to look away. Her laughter was rare, but when it came, it was a melody that turned ordinary moments into unforgettable memories. We didn't fall in love overnight. It was a series of small, intricate moments, a shared joke, a meaningful look, the way she listened with the kind of focus that made you feel like the only person in the world. There was no rushing with her, she let the days speak for themselves, unfolding her story like petals of a flower reluctant to bloom until the sun was just right. I came to understand her not through grand declarations, but through the quiet strength she showed in every challenge she faced. The woman I love has known heartbreak, and she never hid that from me. She wore her scars with a silent dignity, never seeking sympathy, only understanding. She never asked for saving, only respect. In the way she speaks of her past, there is no bitterness, only growth. She taught me that love is not about fixing someone, but about walking beside them, step by step, as they find their own way. She is the most independent soul I have ever known, and yet she chose me, not out of need, but out of desire. Her passion for life burns like a slow, steady flame. She dreams with her whole heart, even when the world tells her to be cautious. She is brave in quiet ways, waking up after sleepless nights, starting over when the odds are stacked against her, forgiving those who don't deserve it. She taught me that courage isn't loud, it is often silent and unseen. In loving her, I have learned to recognize the kind of strength that doesn't roar but still changes everything. When she loves, it's not with half measures. She loves deeply, selflessly, and without conditions. It's not always easy, she challenges me, calls out my flaws, expects me to grow. But she also lifts me, sees parts of me I didn't know existed, believes in me when I can't believe in myself. Her love is not a shelter from the storm, but a lighthouse guiding me through it. She is not my savior, she is my equal, my mirror, and my compass. What surprises me most is how her love continues to evolve. Just when I think I know her, she reveals another layer, another hidden room in the mansion of her soul. She is constantly becoming, never settling into who she was yesterday. And I am drawn to every transformation, every reinvention. She inspires me not just to love her better, but to become better for her. With her, growth is not a threat, but a promise. There is an elegance in how she holds space for others, how she listens without judgment and offers truth with kindness. She doesn't chase validation or applause. Her confidence comes from a deeper place, rooted in knowing her worth. When she walks into a room, she brings a presence that speaks before she even says a word. It's in the way people soften around her, as though they sense they've met someone rare and genuine. Her influence on my life can't be measured in gestures or moments. It's a constant undercurrent, shaping how I see the world. She's changed my vocabulary, my beliefs, even the way I dream. She made me realize that love isn't something you fall into. It's something you build, nurture, and protect every single day. Her love has taught me patience, resilience, and the unmatched power of vulnerability. I love her not just for who she is, but for who I am when I'm with her. She brings out the part of me that dares, that hopes, that believes. With her, I don't have to hide, pretend, or perform. I can be whole, broken, healing, unfinished, and still be loved entirely. That is the miracle of loving her, the acceptance, the peace, the belonging. I never knew love could feel like coming home until I found her. Time passes, seasons change, but what remains unwavering is my love for her. It deepens with every trial, every joy, every quiet moment when our hands find each other in the dark. She is the woman I would choose in every lifetime, in every universe, across every version of reality. There is no distance my soul would not travel to find hers again. The story behind the woman I love is not one of fairy tales or fantasies. It is a real, raw, and breathtakingly honest narrative of two people who found each other in a chaotic world and decided to choose love, again and again. And if I had to write this story 1,000 times over, I'd still begin it with her. Always her. Because loving her is the greatest truth I've ever known. She does not seek to be the center of attention, and yet, in every crowd, my eyes search only for her. It's not out of habit, it's instinct. She is the stillness that anchors me, the calm at the center of every storm I face. When the world becomes too loud, too demanding, her presence silences the chaos. A simple glance from her reminds me of who I am and what I'm striving for. She has this uncanny ability to bring me back to myself, not by force, but by gently holding up a mirror to my soul and whispering. There are days I watch her from across the room, completely lost in her own world, reading, thinking, sometimes just staring out the window, and I am mesmerized by the poetry she becomes in those moments. She doesn't even have to speak for me to feel the weight and wisdom of her thoughts. Her silence is not empty, it's full of grace, intention, and quiet rebellion. She holds her peace like a sacred thing, and when she does speak, her words are careful, deliberate, and laced with the kind of honesty that can only come from someone who has faced herself fully. Loving her means learning to sit with the uncomfortable truths, not just about her, but about myself. She doesn't let me settle into comfort zones or wear masks. She invites me into a kind of love that strips away illusions, not to hurt, but to heal. I have learned that growth often feels like discomfort, and she has shown me how beautiful it can be to transform under the warmth of someone's unwavering presence. She doesn't rescue me. She watches me rise, and that's far more powerful than saving. She has dreams that are bigger than the sky, and yet, she remains deeply rooted in humility. There's no arrogance in her ambition, only hope, fierce dedication, and a belief that she is here to leave the world better than she found it. I have watched her chase purpose with relentless fire, and even in moments when she stumbled, she rose with more grace than most possess at their peak. Her resilience doesn't shout. It doesn't perform. It simply endures, endears, and uplifts. There are chapters of her story that I will never fully know, moments that shaped her long before I arrived. But instead of being threatened by that, I've learned to cherish the mystery of it. Because loving her doesn't mean owning every piece of her past, it means honoring the journey that brought her to me. She is a mosaic of everything she has survived and everything she dares to hope for. And every piece, every fragment, only makes her more radiant. Sometimes, I wonder how I ever lived without her voice echoing in my world. Her words, her thoughts, her way of seeing the unseen, they have colored my days with a vibrancy I never knew I was missing. She has a way of turning the mundane into magic. A walk becomes a pilgrimage. A conversation becomes a confession. A kiss becomes a vow. With her, life is not about chasing the extraordinary, it's about recognizing that it already exists, right here, in every shared glance and held hand. When we argue, and we do, it's never about winning. It's about understanding. She doesn't fight to prove a point, she fights to protect the connection. And even when emotions run high, I never doubt the love beneath the tension. We've built a foundation on honesty, not perfection. And that's what makes it unshakable. We are not two halves becoming whole. We are two wholes, choosing to walk forward, side by side, with all our complexities laid bare. She carries a softness that this world does not always know how to hold, and yet she remains unguarded. That, to me, is bravery. She offers her heart knowing it could be broken and still believes in the goodness of people. Her kindness is not performative. It's not about being liked, it's about being real. I have watched her comfort strangers, stand up for the voiceless, and sit with someone else's pain as if it were her own. That kind of empathy changes the people lucky enough to witness it. She loves with a depth that sometimes scares me, because it demands I meet her there. I can't hide in shallow affection or retreat into safe gestures. Her love is vast, and to honor it, I must offer all of myself. It's not always easy. It requires shedding old fears, breaking down walls I didn't know I'd built. But every time I choose to step deeper into that vulnerability, I'm rewarded with a connection so profound it feels like time stops when I hold her. There are nights when she falls asleep before me, and I just lie there, listening to her breathing, memorizing the rhythm of her existence. It humbles me, the fact that she trusts me with her stillness. That she allows me to be the witness to her quietest moments. That she feels safe enough to unravel beside me. In those hours, I don't need answers or plans. I just need the feel of her beside me, a silent reminder that I have found something rare, and I will never take it for granted. She is not the woman I imagined I would love, she is far more. She challenges every expectation I once held, redefines every dream I once thought was enough. Her presence in my life has forced me to dream bigger, to live deeper, to love harder. I no longer chase the future with uncertainty. I walk toward it with purpose, because I know who stands beside me. She is not my other half, she is my whole world in motion, my revolution in human form. The story behind the woman I love is still being written. It unfolds in daily rituals, in shared laughter, in moments of quiet courage. And if the universe grants me the honor, I will spend the rest of my life not only loving her, but learning her. Because she is a universe in herself, vast, mysterious, filled with wonders yet to be discovered. And I, her willing astronaut, am endlessly captivated by the gravity